The Defector Files. The Curious Case of David Jones. Another day, another defection. Tonight's subject, a man of law language, and remarkable political longevity. David Jones, former Tory MP, former Secretary of State for Wales, former Brexit Minister, meet Mr. Former, and now, after nearly 2 decades in Parliament, a flaccid member of deformed UK plc. Yes, another sudden outbreak of ideological clarity. There's a lot of that going around in the Tory party, all so conveniently timed after leaving office. Let us proceed. Not the man from Uncle, but the solicitor from Stepney. Jones' humble beginnings. Jones was born in Stepney in 1952, to Welsh parents. Educated at University College London and trained as a solicitor in Chester. He worked in law alongside none other than Llewellyn Wyn Jones. Yes, future Conservative cabinet minister, working alongside future Plaid Cymru leadership. Already, the detective notes, a man comfortable with ideological flexibility, the Welsh detour. Jones entered politics via the Welsh Assembly. He became a regional member in 2002, and then, quite decisively, chose not to seek re-election in 2003. A brief political cameo, like a man testing the water before diving into a much larger shark pool. The Westminster years. In 2005, Jones became MP for Clyde West, narrowly defeating Labour. He would fester there until 2024. That is 19 years of loyal Tory servicing. 19 years. 19, as Paul Hardcastle once sang, but we need to ask Billy Kershaw if it was Janis Joplin who wrote the song, after she, according to him, wrote Give Peace a Chance. Let us emphasize that number for future reference. The rise, or rather the semi in Mr. Jones' case. Jones climbed steadily Welsh Affairs Select Committee, Shadow Minister for Wales, Government Minister in 2010, Secretary of State for Wales in 2012 under David, the Piggy Diddler allegedly, Cameron. He became the first Welsh Secretary to have previously served in the Assembly, a historic milestone, and, like many ministers, he had his moment in the sun, the 100-metre mystery. In 2013, Jones reportedly took a chauffeur-driven Jaguar for a journey of approximately 100 metres. Yes, a whole 100 metres. The explanation: he was reading cabinet papers. Yes, of course it was. Because nothing aids concentration like being gently chauffeured the length of a cricket pitch. Even Barrett Holmes himself could not have deduced a more efficient use of public resources. The break-shit conversion. Jones later became involved with Leave Means Leave. He supported Brexit. He served as a Brexit minister under Theresa May. He championed sovereignty, infrastructure, and national renewal. All the greatest Tory hits. And yet, his views. Jones was also known for his very socially conservative positions. He opposed same-sex marriage in 2013. His reasoning: marriage, he argued, existed primarily for raising children. This did not go down particularly well with Stonewall. Though, to his credit, he clarified he supported committed same-sex relationships, a classic Westminster maneuver, drive over the body, then slowly reverse in the hope of not causing too much damage, the blog that wasn't. In 2014, Jones was accused of contributing to a mysterious blog, Thoughts of Oscar. He denied it. Others insisted otherwise. There were allegations, arrests, claims of conspiracies involving Masonic connections, dodgy handshakes and even dodger deals. There were no charges and no proof, but just enough intrigue to keep this detective mildly entertained. The inevitable fall. In the 2024 UK general election, Jones lost his seat. After 19 years, oh, how very sad for him, after 19 years of stinking up politics, the voters of Clyde West decided they had had enough of his foul Tory aroma, a tragic moment. Doesn't it just tug at your heartstrings? Or, depending on your perspective, Democracy was finally functioning exactly as intended. Our defective defector. Now we arrive at the most fascinating chapter. In 2025, after nearly 2 decades as a Tory MP, after serving in cabinet, after shaping policy, Jones suddenly discovered that the Tories were no longer adequate, not even adequately functional. He defected to Deformed UK plc. His explanation: Deformed was the party showing determination. Ah yes, determination. A quality that apparently went unnoticed during his 19 years of Tory devotion. Barrett Holmes deduction. Let us assemble the facts. Conservative MP for 19 years. Cabinet Minister. Brexit advocate. Lost his seat in 2024. Joins Deformed in 2025. Not planning to stand for election again. Curious. Very curious. You see, dear viewer, if I may elaborate, this is not a leap toward power. This is a leap toward relevance without the responsibility. No elections, no constituents, no accountability. Just statements and slogans, lots of slogans, and the comforting warmth of a new political banner. David Jones spent nearly 2 decades shaping the very old establishment order he now critiques. And yet, only after the voters removed him from office did he discover that Deform UK plc truly represents his beliefs. A remarkable coincidence. One might even call it elementary. The conclusion. And so concludes another entry in the ever-growing archive of the Defective Defector files. Join me next time when yet another turncoat Tory politician looking for relevance experiences a sudden ideological awakening. Moments after losing their seat. Until next time, like, subscribe, comment and share. Stay skeptical, question everything. And remember, in Westminster, conviction is permanent. Until the electorate intervenes. That damned electorate, if it hadn't been for them, he'd still be getting away with it. Opening the files of the defective defectors once more. Scotland, land of rugged landscapes, fierce independence, and Tory politicians with remarkably flexible career trajectories. Tonight's subject: Ross Thompson, former Conservative MP, former MSP, former councillor, and now, in a plot twist so predictable it should come with a warning label, a member of Deformed UK, yes. Another case of what I like to call post-parliamentary enlightenment syndrome. Let us investigate. The Aberdeen Apprentice. Thompson was manufactured in 1987 in Aberdeen. Educated locally. Then attended the University of Aberdeen, graduating with a first-class degree in politics. Promising. Before politics, he worked at Debenhams as a store trainer, which, one assumes, prepared him well for Westminster. Customer complaints, difficult conversations, and occasionally things going missing. The long road to power. Thompson did not burst onto the political scene. He persisted. Relentlessly. 2007 Scottish Parliament, lost. 2010 general election, lost. 2011 Scottish Parliament, lost. 2013 by-election, lost. 2015 general election, lost. At this point, most individuals might consider a different hobby. Maybe an academic YouTube journalist who produces 10-minute videos and hilariously calls them a documentary. Start an OnlyFans page, open a Fuds R Us, stamp collecting, bird watching, interpretive dance, but Thompson pressed on. Finally, in 2016, he became an MSP via the regional list. Proof that in politics, as in detective work, persistence can eventually overcome public hesitation. The ascendance. In 2017, he achieved the prize, MP for Aberdeen South, a historic win. First Conservative MP there in 25 years, a triumph, A breakthrough, a moment of genuine political success. Naturally, it lasted 2 years. The break-shit crusader. Once in Parliament, Thomson became a hardline Brexit supporter. He backed Spafford Johnson. He even served as Johnson's campaign manager in Scotland. A bold move. Like volunteering to captain the Titanic. The Baghdad incident. In 2018, Thomson visited Baghdad. While there, he posed for photos at a military site associated with Saddam Hussein. Critics accused him of trivializing the regime. He apologized. Which, in modern politics, is essentially the equivalent of saying, "I regret the optics, not the decision." The Stranger's Bar mystery. Now we arrive at the most delicate portion of our investigation. In 2019, allegations emerged regarding incidents in the Stranger's Bar of the House of Commons. Claims were made of bottom pinching and other unwanted touching. Denials followed, investigations ensued. The Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards later concluded his behaviour was not sexual in nature and cleared him of misconduct. And yet, the political damage was already done. The dissent. Later that year, Thomson announced he would not stand in the 2019 UK general election. His explanation: the situation had made his life a living hell. Additionally, his local Conservative association declined to support his candidacy. A subtle hint. In politics, when your own party won't sign your paperwork, the case, as they say, is largely solved. The parliamentary afterlife. After leaving Westminster, Thomson entered the world of public affairs. He worked for Poppy Scotland. Then, in a plot twist that could only occur in modern politics, he worked for a business linked to Dementia Donny, the Dump, at a resort in Aberdeenshire. From Parliament to Trump's golf course, a career arc as smooth as a bunker shot in a storm. The Defective. In 2020, Thomson made his move. He joined deformed UK plc. His reasoning: only reform have the courage and answers. Ah yes, courage. Answers. Most importantly, an open door for former politicians seeking a second act. The Barrett-Holmes deduction. Let us review multiple electoral defeats, eventual success in 2017, 2-year stint as MP, controversy and withdrawal in 2019, years outside Parliament. Joins Reform UK in 2025. You see the pattern. This is not a political evolution. It is a career recalibration. Reform UK has become the natural habitat of the politically displaced and intellectually stunted. A sanctuary for those who once held office and would quite like to be heard again. My conclusion. Ross Thomson's story is not one of sudden transformation. It is a story of persistence, controversy and reinvention. From shop floor trainer to MSP to MP to political exile to deformed UK plc advocate. A journey as winding as a Highland road. And so concludes another case in The Defector Files, where former politicians discover bold new visions for the country. Shortly after, the country decides it no longer requires their services. Until next time, observe carefully, question everything, stay skeptical. Like, comment, share widely and Subbscribble. And remember, in British politics defeat is temporary, but reinvention is inevitable. From the case files of Barrett-Holmes, here's another defective defector. Good evening. Tonight's case features a politician of passion, persistence, and a rather impressive record of being repeatedly told to sit in the corner. Our subject: Anne-Marie Morris, a.k.a. Zelda of the Terror Hawks, former Conservative MP for Newton Abbot, 14 years in Parliament, 2 suspensions of the party whip, and, naturally, a post-parliamentary migration to deformed UK plc, because nothing says consistency like leaving your party after it's no longer employing you. Let us begin. Morris was hatched. In London in 1957. Educated at Bryanston School, followed by law at Hertford College, Oxford. She became a corporate lawyer, then a marketing director at PwC, Ernst & Young. Yes, from corporate boardrooms to Westminster benches. A natural progression and very marginal difference between the two. If one enjoys spreadsheets followed by shouting, enters politics. Morris entered politics via local government in West Sussex. By 2010, she was elected the MP for Newton Abbot. Majority, a modest 523 votes, slimmer than a Rizla paper. Barely enough to fill a village hall, but enough to begin a 14-year campaign of Tory terror, career in Parliament. The rebel yell. Morris quickly developed a reputation. Energetic. Vocal, very shouty. Occasionally audible from neighbouring constituencies. In 2012, she delivered a now infamous shouted question in the Commons. Arm in a sling. Voice at full volume. The chamber amused. The internet delighted. Morris insisted she was simply being passionate, as others were, subjected to her shrill cackling tones.
Anne-Marie Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This government has a great record on educational reform. Given the huge success of the University Technical College Initiative, creating over 25, will the Prime Minister please confirm he will support a further round of applications this autumn and that funding is available so that businesses, universities, parents and young people in Devon...
Got it. We've got the gist of it. Very good. Very good to see the honourable lady on such feisty form. She's absolutely right to speak up for university technical colleges.
Nothing conveys quiet competence like shouting over everyone. Snout in the trough. Later that year, she appeared in a BBC investigation. The topic: MPs who owned London property while claiming expenses for renting another. Entirely legal, entirely controversial, and entirely on brand for Westminster. The rebel without a brain years. Morris was not your typical obedient backbencher. She rebelled against military action in Syria, against party lines on free school meals, against the VAT policy on energy bills. What you got? Zelda of the Terror Hawks will rebel against it. She would have made a fine DUPMP. She even submitted a letter of no confidence in Theresa May, in short. A loyal Tory, surely an oxymoron. With a flexible definition of loyalty, Mrs. Whippy. Now we arrive at the most revealing chapter. Morris didn't just rebel, she was disciplined. Twice. 2017. She used an offensive phrase during a public discussion on break shit. The backlash was immediate. The Conservative Party, under Theresa May, suspended the whip. Morris apologised. The whip was eventually restored, just in time for a crucial break shit vote. How convenient. 2022. History, as it often does in Westminster, repeated itself. She lost the whip again, this time for voting against the government on the energy VAT. Her response: no apology, only defiance. Supporting constituents mattered more. Admirable if it were true. Though one suspect's party managers developed a mild twitch whenever her name appeared in voting lists. The break shit loyalist. Morris supported break shit before the 2016 referendum. She backed leaving the EU. She backed party leadership. Until, of course, she didn't. Because in Westminster, loyalty is often conditional. The political finale. In the 2024 UK general election, Morris left Parliament. 14 years have passed. No more Commons shouting. Lots of relieved MPs, knowing that Morris would not be able to permanently damage their hearing. No more whip suspensions. No more narrow votes. A political career complete, or so one might think. The defective defector. In 2025, Morris joined deformed UK plc. Not quietly. Oh no. She took on a role shaping social care policy. Because nothing says fresh thinking like importing former MPs from the very system you claim to oppose. The Barrett-Holmes deduction. Let us examine the evidence. 14 years. As a Conservative MP, multiple rebellions. 2 whip suspensions. Leaves Parliament in 2024. Joins Reform UK in 2025. My dear viewer, this is not an ideological transformation. This is political continuity with a rebrand. Morris did not suddenly discover new beliefs. She simply found a party more tolerant of them, and, crucially, one that does not require her to win an election. Barrett's conclusion. Anne-Marie Morris was never a quiet politician. She challenged her party, defied its leadership, and occasionally shocked the room. So perhaps her final act is not surprising. After all, if you've spent a career pushing against the boundaries of one party, eventually you will find another that moves the boundary line. And so concludes another chapter in The Defective Defector Files, where long-serving politicians discover new political homes shortly after leaving their old ones behind. They've ripped out the wiring and stripped it of any copper. Until next time, observe carefully, question everything, stay skeptical, like, comment, share widely, and Subbscribble. And remember, in Westminster, rebellion is temporary, but reinvention is eternal.